This is a View from the Bridge official podcast of your Elite League champion Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. My name is Patrick Smith. It's Tuesday the 7th of April. I'm joined by the Belfast Giants statistician, Mr. David McGimsey, and the local ice hockey legend, that is Mr. Simon Kitchen. Over the next hour or so, we'll be bringing you all the news and views of the Belfast Giants and the Elite Ice Hockey League. We're live or on demand on YouTube, X, Facebook. You can listen to us through all the really good podcast providers. On this week's show, the league champions took 2 wins over the Coventry Blaze and fell defeat to the Flames in the final week. Let's look at how we're preparing for the playoffs. Andrew Dickson will be joining us. He took to the ice just the other night, and he'll be followed by a former Giant, now at the Clan, Daniel Tedesco. We'll consider the playoff quarterfinal matchups, some of the news around the league as the league comes to the end, and the player of the month. It's time for that, and a whole lot more. First of all, gentlemen, a big thank you for last week and taking the reins. You did a fantastic job. I enjoyed listening in as I was slipping down the hills of France. David, how are you?
Better that you're back, Paddy. Got to be honest.
You say this every time, mate. You do a fantastic job.
I mean it every time, and I thank you very much for your kind words. It doesn't feel like that when we're doing it, but me and Sis had a bit of a laugh, which was the main thing. Some technical problems. We got through it by 10 o'clock, and we were happy days. So we're good to have you back.
It looked like you enjoyed it, Sis.
He was just horrendous, like, for God's sake. I mean, it's another half an hour added on to the already hour and a half show, for God's sake.
I tell you, Sis,
the people don't see how much editing has to be done when Davy does. It's just ridiculous.
One shot.
Went out in a one shot.
I've said this to him before. I think he does a great job, and he doesn't give himself enough credit for it, because there's a lot of things 100%. That juggle when you're doing that type of thing. So it's
I remember
it was good crack last week.
The very first time Paddy went away. I used to go away a bit more frequent. This was BC before children. He used to go away 2-3 times a season. We'd have had hits here or whatever in. So there was quite a lot of bloopers, and we couldn't put out. There was a lot of swearing and stuff that we had to edit out. And we used this. What was it? What did you call the system we used, Paddy? Well, we used MP3 Skype record, but we used what do you call it? Audacity, yes.
So
there's this software, and Paddy's, if you've got a blooper, you just write down the time, and then you just go cut it out. That's fine. What he didn't tell me was you start at the end and make your cuts, because then it doesn't change the time point. Mate, I used to be at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning sitting editing Hitchy's swearies out, because I started at the start of the show, and you just have to listen from the start, find the blooper, cut it, go back to start, listen from the start. It was a nightmare. So that's one shot stuff that would do is much, much better.
You know what? This whole system that we've been doing now and how we've been doing it has changed the way we're doing the podcast. It's been great. So a big thanks to all who've been introduced us to this. But yes, big thanks, gents. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was and thanks for putting up with me. I was quite drunk when you brought me on. I have to fully admit that. It had been a really good day. I'd been, but one thing I will do before we start into the show as well is give a big shout to a brand new Belfast Giants fan, George Kendall, who is the son of my friend Dan, who was out with us skiing, and when I had the games on against Coventry and against Guildford. And on the iPad at dinner and in the bar, he was getting well clued in and joining in and wanted to know all about the Belfast Giants and wanting to know how about the league champions. So his dad sent me a message the other day saying that he's now watching highlights and he's all getting involved. So big shout out to George.
Whereabouts in the country does George live?
About 15 minutes that way.
All right, so he'll be got a storm shelter next season with you.
Well, he'll be coming to the storm shelter next season with a shirt and a scarf, no doubt. So welcome aboard, George. And for a fellow who's out on his first ski trip, age 11, he's absolutely flying down the hill. So well done to him. Anyway, boys,
let's go.
The Elite League regular season drew to a conclusion this past week for the Belfast Giants and for everybody. And the Giants took 3 games on. It was 2 victories over the Coventry Blaze and a defeat at the hands of the Guildford Flames at home. Let's start with that first game on Wednesday against the Blaze. Let's hear from the coaches.
That was a good game. It's kind of difficult this time, this last stretch after we won on Friday, but I think the guys pulled together. We had a good game actually on Sunday in Manchester, just came up short. But I think all four lines basically were showing up tonight, and Cupper made some big saves, and our special teams was decent. We got a couple nice power play goals, which is what we needed coming down the stretch leading up to playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think we had it tonight. I think we had large stretches of inconsistencies, and frankly, we were pretty terrible, and it's just not acceptable. So we got to make sure that we regroup on the off day and have a good practice going into the weekend, and just as always, just sort of make sure we learn from the bad here and move forward, and just get better as a group, and take a good step in the right direction.
Goal scorers for the Belfast Giants: Jake Goodett, Scott Conway, Nicholas Gay, home and away, Carson Twinsky, David Goodwin, and Scott Conway with another goal and a power play to round out a hat trick for the Giants that night. That power play goal initiated a change in goalkeepers on both sides, including the reappearance of our guest later on, Andrew Dickson. For the Coventry Blaze, Luciani actually opened the scoring for the game, but the other goals came from Hopkins, Constable, and then Luciani got his second of the match. As I said, Jake Kupski and Matt Robson started the game, and they were both replaced. The Belfast Giants replaced with Kupski with Andrew Dickson, and Matt Robson at Coventry Blaze was replaced by Dershan Stewart. And your referees of the game for Andy Dalton and Vitas Lukasovicius. The game started with the raising of yet another league championship banner for the Belfast Giants. And David, despite the opening goal going to the Coventry Blaze, the Giants came out of this game pretty dominant.
Yeah, a bit of a track meet at times, up and down the ice, a lot of opportunities. I think the 10-12-64 line had over 20 shots combined between the three of them. They're another good night. George Awada there mentioned special teams, with a couple on the power play. We give one up on the penalty kill. We'll give a short-handed one up when we're on the power play. So it was a night of it was quite loosey-goosey, as Derek Walser once called it. It was an evening of just, let the boys play, and they went up and down the ice. Can't go without mentioning the banner raising at the start. It's always something very special, and especially to do it so quick, so the boys that actually won it can have. I know in years gone by, we've had banner raisings maybe on the first night of the next season. I remember Shane Johnson suited up for the Sheffield Steelers. I think it was, come out and watch the banner being raised. So it's really good that those logistics are in place, that this can be raised so quick, and raising it really special, because I know I spoke to Robert a number of years ago. Once upon a time, we dropped them from the rafters, and that wasn't, I like them raised, so they're raised there. So kudos to Robert for making sure that that's a tradition that we keep going in Belfast. So I know Simon will say more about that. It's something special about. We talk about it here all the time. Raising banners, making memories, lifting silverware. That's just what the Belfast Giants do. So that was a lovely start to the evening. As far as the game goes, and as much as a dead rubber that you might come up against this team, and later on down the season, you don't want to give too much up. It was pretty loose both ways, and it was just an enjoyable. I'm sure it was quite an enjoyable game for the neutral, of which I know there was plenty watching us on this webcast, because they were on Twitter complaining about different bits and pieces. So it's good to know that we're still on a night where every other league team was playing, including their own teams. They were watching the big team. So great for Scott Conway to get a hat trick. I think Scott's been brilliant since Christmas. I think I've said how many times in the podcast this season, just because the goals haven't been coming in, it's not unnoticed how hard this guy works in the corners. And also it's good to see that repaying, that he's been getting goals of late. So pleased for him. But a nice performance, a nice game of hockey, and that's about all you want to say about it. Oh, that's a big collision.
That collision, funny enough, what I was looking at earlier on, Simon, what you have in this in these games, dead rubbers as they may be, you want to have a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs, but you also do not want to put yourself in a position that you're short-handed going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing about it is anybody with a niggle, you want to just try and leave them out. But Adam's got a bit of a problem with it. They didn't want to be left out. There's guys that wanted to play. There was guys that wanted to it's all about getting their points and stuff as well. Certain guys have got to hit targets, and it's important to get bonuses when they can. But it's important that you try and have a positive run going into a playoff run. I mean, I was looking at the way the playoffs have actually finalised out, and we'll talk about that later. Because again, there's some teams that have come into the the last couple of weeks of the season on a decent run, and I think that's going to help them going into the semi-finals and quarterfinals, and it could be a couple of shocks on the cards here heading into this playoff weekend. But for ourselves, it was a really good performance. Obviously, you come off the back of the Friday night win for the championship. Saturday, quite a few changes made. Some really good performances on top of that, to beat Nottingham again. And then you go into Manchester, which was always going to be a tough game anyway. But to come out and play this, that was the fourth game in 6 nights, which is tough because at this time of the season, obviously with the addition of the Manchester game, because of the missed flight back in February, it was always going to be tough. And thankfully, we got the job done before that Manchester game, because we all know going in there is a really difficult task anyway. But back to the point on, you want to basically try and just put in a solid performance and be professional. And I thought that's what we did last Wednesday night. It's 3 games ago, so you're trying to think back of exactly what happened. And they got the early goal. We came back and got a couple. I think we went into the first period 2-1 up, and then we got another one to make it 3-1, and they get one back, and it's back and forth. But at no time did I think that we were going to lose the game. Even when we were 1-0 down, I didn't think that we were going to lose that game. I just thought we played really well. We just played with confidence, and really good for Collins to get a hat trick. It was a physical encounter, a couple of big hits, and collisions. You seen the one with JJ there on their blue line. And I thought he was really hurt, but thankfully the kid dusted himself down and was back out for the next shift. So it's Coventry have been I don't want to say our nemesis this year, but they've been a tough team to beat. To get that big result against them on Wednesday, sort of give us a bit more confidence going into getting into the tail end of the season, and obviously the last weekend of the regular season.
Follow up, Simon, just briefly before I go back to Davy with another one, but on what he said there about the banner raising and the logistics behind that. Like, it is great that the amount of years where it's gone by, you're absolutely right, Davy, where we have to wait so long for the banners to get in and then whatever. But to be able to do that basically, not the next game, but within a very short period of time, to have that experience for the boys on the ice is special.
It's more of a Steve Thornton thing. Davey mentioned there about the time when Johnny was playing for Sheffield.
I remember that.
When he came in a different uniform. And look, that happens all over the world. In the NHL, they have the banners raised the next year. They'll have the Stanley Cup. If they win the Stanley Cup, they have their ceremony and they have their rings and all handed out. And not everybody's always in the same place. So it's really nice to see that we can do that and turn it around. And Gareth from our design team designs all the banners, and he got the contact straight on the ball first thing on Monday morning. And obviously we had it for the Wednesday. So it's just real. I think it's a great touch to be able to put, to watch the banner being raised, that you work your tail off for the whole season to get that done. And whether that's from whether that's Scott Conway, who's played 60 something games this year, or whether that's Carter Hamill, who's played 20 games, or whether it's Kell, Beattie, who's coming in and only playing a second one. Everybody's contributed both on and off the ice. And I was standing watching the tunnel with the boys, with the girls, and it's a big moment in the season. It's going to be part of our history forever now, and seeing those banners up in the corner and up behind the net, and it just makes all your hard work throughout the season, worthwhile. And coming up and getting another league championship, our 4th in 5 years and our 5th in 6 years, it's absolutely incredible. And I said in the podcast last week, there's teams out there and there's fan bases out there who are ranting and raving. It's Belfast budget and this, that, and the other. Let me tell you something. And I said, we don't have the biggest budget in the world. We have our biggest budget for travel because we've got to travel 27 times the away games just in the league. And that is not cheap. We work our tail off. We got some fantastic partners off the ice from sponsor side of things. What we do and where we are on the ice and off the ice is Adam Keefe. Adam Keefe, Jeff Mason, George Joada, Rod Stewart, Steve Thornton, all these people off the ice who knock their pan in to basically put a successful team on the ice. And people say it gets boring. No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. It's fantastic. And for us to dominate the Elite League, let's be honest, back in November, if you'd have told me we were going to be 10 or 11 points clear with a couple of games to go, that's not going to happen. This league is a lot tighter than that. And, we deserve to be where we are. We deserve to win the championship because we're the best team. And that's all it comes down to. So, all these Sheffield Steelers fans and Nottingham fans and Cardiff fans saying, it's boring. Nah, it's pretty boring because yous are crap and we step up and we win the league year in, year out. And is it going to be as hard next year? I think it's going to be harder. But I'll tell you what, we're going to turn up again next year and we're going to give it a good go.
As Davy will attest, I'm not a big fan of people talking about budgets. I think it's nonsense. You set your budget for the year and you go out and compete. Don't come back later and complain about who's spent and what and who's not. It's absolute nonsense in my opinion. Anyway,
coach loves a budget.
Coach loves it. Coach loves to chat about budgets.
You talk about budgets. There's a lot of things that you budget for throughout the season, and there's a lot of things that you can't control. When you look at the likes of our first game of the season and Josh Roach, this is pre-season, our first game of the season, 8 minutes in to his ice time for the second period, he got hurt and we had to give him a shoulder operation. Pennies don't grow on trees. You don't get operations they got for free. That was a budget that we set aside for the season, blown in one hit. And it was a slip from him. There was nobody hit him. He basically lost his balance and fell. And that, as I say, that's what we had set aside for the season. And it's used up in the first game of the year.
Yeah.
So, you have to just basically work harder to come up with whatever you need to come up with to be successful. But, all these other teams that are saying, you have far much more money than us, that is not the case. It's just that we're better with our money. We put a successful team on the ice. It doesn't always end up, you put more money in that way you win the title. That's not the case. That is definitely not the case. But we're lucky enough where we work our tail off the ice to put a successful product on the ice. And our fan base has come in numbers this year. Davey, you give the number there for, I think it was 247,000, I think it was, that are up until Saturday's game, 247 and change for people through the doors this season, which is absolutely incredible because this Saturday night is going to be sold out, and that means we're over 250,000 people coming in just to watch the Belfast Giants this year. It's absolutely insane.
That was just the comeback I was going with there, Paddy. 250,000 people that the attracted through the doors this season. That's through the product on the ice, a bit of the match night entertainment, whatever way. Some people come for the hockey, some people come to be entertained. It's a night out as well. But it's all part of it. And that also helps, with Steve and Adam when they're looking to recruit players that, if you have 250,000 people come to watch you this through the season, you've got money to spend. So it's great. And all those people hopefully buying food and drink and jerseys, and it all helps at the end whenever you get to raise those banners and put those medals around players' necks and raise trophies. It's what we'll go for, isn't it?
With the profile of the team and the profile of the game has been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, not just across the UK, but like you talk about in Belfast, and bringing that many people in through the doors just shows how strong the brand is, how strong the game is. And that sort of leads me on to what my next point is going to be. Our first guest of the night is waiting in the wings. I'm going to bring him in just a second, but this sort of involves him. And because when Andrew Dickson came into this game, you had Andrew Dickson, you had the Hamill brothers, Davy, and you also had Max Stewart, also all playing in this game. There are four lads product of the game within the country and within what we have in Belfast. We only have one permanent ice rink on the whole of the island, and there are four guys playing in the Elite League in this one game, and it just shows the strength of not just how the game's getting stronger, but it's something to be really proud of.
I've said often, about the women's game, whenever we talk about the friendship series and women's games being played, if you can't see it, you can't be it. And with absolute respect to Dicko, being slightly older now, one of the veterans, whenever Mac and Cammy and Carter and all are coming through and Kell looking up, you can see Dicko on the team, you can see a local lad in the team, so there's pathway through there. And, you know, they look up to him, as we all do, but, you know, there's an opportunity to look up to somebody. See, so for the future, it's really bright, and these kids coming through now see Cameron and Carter and Kell, and they see opportunities that, hey, I can play for my hometown team if I work hard and I dedicate myself to this. There's an opportunity maybe down the line. So, you know, we talk often about how much it means to have Northern Ireland people playing for our team, for our city. We're very fortunate a lot of these guys come and represent our city because we can't see this often. But there's something extra special about a homegrown lad. I'm going to cry. But yes, I'm pleased to see them. Always pleased to see them and see them get nice time and stuff. It's brilliant.
Simon, before I bring him in as well, you put something on Facebook this week about, you know, the representation that you gave to Team Ireland and how long ago that was as a player, a local player, as a guy who played the game in this country for a long, long time. You know, what is it you see, you know, with regards to being able to see that amount of lads from Belfast or from the north and from Northern Ireland who are playing for the Belfast Giants?
I think it's massive. You know, it's always going to be difficult because it's just as you touched on. There's only one ice rink in the whole island, north and south, and it's, you know, we're hopefully, obviously, with the Dublin rink coming on board soon, that might create another influx. You know, we're working hard to get another ice rink in the Belfast area, and obviously Dundonald Ice Bowl is going to be reborn. I mean, I drove past it the other day, and the way they're throwing that up is absolutely fantastic as well. But I genuinely feel so proud to see Dicko coming on the ice the other night. I know he's watching us in the wings, and I'm not just saying this. I've told him this a million times before. You know, it's fantastic to see. You know, he's arguably one of the hardest working guys that's out there for practice because he stays on after practice. He's one of the first out on the ice. You know, it's not always easy for him. You know, he's got the hardest job in the world with regards, you know, just waiting for the call to come up and for him to get an opportunity there to play, but 7 or 8 minutes is just fantastic. And you heard that from the reaction of the crowd. You know, when you're basically standing there and you've got 7,000 people all cheering for Andrew Dickson, a local boy coming on who never stepped on ice until he was 13 or 14. And for him to work his tail off over that, you know, from up until he was 21, I think it was, before he got his chance to, and then he made it, you know, he went away for a couple of years to the Isle of Wight, you know, tried to work his craft and then got the chance to be the goalie for the Belfast Giants. And for him to come on the ice and to get another chance to wear that teal jersey, I mean, I would have absolutely loved that for a chance to do that. And then you're following that up with, you're talking about Carter and Cameron and Kell, and obviously Mac was playing for Coventry last Wednesday night as well. It's you know, the future is bright. There's a few kids that are coming through at another very young age who have got to, if they adapt themselves right and have the right attitude, and they work their tail off, then there's an opportunity for them as well. But, you know, Andre Dickson has been around the Belfast Giants locker room now for nearly 16 years. He's certainly seen a lot of characters come and go throughout that time. But he's like I said a few weeks ago, he can't go on forever, as much as I'd love him to. You know, there will come a time when he's not going to be there anymore. And that's the bit that I'm finding it very difficult because, you know, I not seeing Dicko about the locker rooms or not seeing him about the rink is going to be really, really strange. But you know, he's got a golf career now, and you know, he's getting into that time of the year when he's, you know, supposed to be working, but he's out playing golf every day. So yeah, it's great to see him to get the opportunity the other night. And get back on the ice at the SSA Arena in front of another sold-out crowd. It was just fantastic.
Well, we've talked about him for long enough. Let's talk to him. He is a former Belfast City Bruin, a former Edinburgh Capital. He is a former Castlereagh Spartan, a former Invicta Dynamo, a former Sheffield Steeler. But He is one of our own, and he is a seven-time Elite League champion. Andrew Dickson. How you doing, Deco? Turn your phone 90 degrees, mate. I can't believe how many. Like, turn your phone. One of our catchphrases now. How you doing, Deco?
I'm not taking some of it. How are you? I'm all right. There you go.
So. Seven-time Elite League champion.
Yeah, technically, yeah, I guess so.
There's no technically about it. The medal's around your neck. First of all, let me ask you about the other night and on Wednesday about coming into that game and getting the chance to get back out and get in front of that crowd. How did it feel?
Yeah, it was good. Kiefer had been threatening to put me on for like the last 2 weeks after we'd won. So yeah, he did. It was good. Obviously, Coventry changed their goalie, which I think sort of allowed Kiefer to do it as well. So yeah, it was nice to get on there. Probably not as nice to get scored on, but still nice to go on the ice. And I got a very good reaction, everything I got there. So just wanted to say thank you for all the support for that, actually, while I get the opportunity to say that.
Well, but you're not just a popular amongst the fans, but you're no doubt, like every player we bring onto this show, when we talk about the team and the guys in the room, they all bring your name up as somebody who's really important to integrity and the atmosphere within the locker room or at training. It's so, but in the last couple of years, what's your experience been as being part of the Belfast Giants?
Yeah, obviously, the last, whatever it is, like 6 years, we've been very, very successful. So I've been very lucky to be a part of that. I don't know, I just try and do what I'm told. Try and do the optional skates and stay on whenever guys want to do tips or do the dry reps. And maybe this year it's been a little different because Gravy, was taking all those reps as well. He wanted to get in the net a lot because he wasn't getting in the net much, so I didn't feel quite as useful this year. But yeah, it's sort of coming towards the end of the year there where I've got to do a lot more practice and stuff. So yeah, it's good. Still enjoy it. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Deco, you might have heard us chatting there about Cameron, Carter, Kell, and all these young lads coming through from Belfast, and having you to look up to is so important. And like that's something that shouldn't be underestimated by you. You're very self-effacing, but do you take a little bit of that on as well? It's very important to have Northern Ireland representation on this team.
Yeah, I do think it's very important. Whenever I look back to whenever I was playing for those teams you mentioned, the Belfast City Bruins and the Junior Giants and things like that there, I was able to watch Mark Morrison, Graham Walton, Chris McGimsey. The first game I ever went to, actually, Chris McGimsey got in to the game against Basingstoke. And I remember, guys from Northern Ireland, it's kind of cool, because you don't expect it, especially when you're like new or coming in. So it does. It just breaks down that everyone thinks it's just Americans, Canadians coming over, but it's not true. There's especially in Belfast, if you can work hard, you will get an opportunity. Kiefer's and Thorts and all, they're looking for players. If there's a player out there that's good enough, they want them. It's not just a charity case where give him a name because he's from here. If they're good enough and you can help the team, they want you.
Yeah, again. You've been about for a long, long time now. The dynamic in the locker room's changed over the years as well. You see how hard the whole squad works. Throughout the whole way throughout the season, and you've done a lot of traveling this year, obviously with the way that Jackson was out and being a British goaltender. It's important to have the option there. Whether he's playing cup ski or whether with Gravel before that, but. For this season itself, what's your thoughts on the way it's developed out and obviously becoming another Elite League champion?
I don't know. At the start of the year, there was a lot of doubts around our dressing room about what sort of team we had. I don't think it helped that we went into those European games. We step onto at that stage quite early in the season, maybe only a week or two in whenever we get here, and those teams, most of them are training all summer, so you're up against it. And then I think we had a little bit of a hangover when we went into the Challenge Cup, and we didn't look so great. So, but it really turns, especially around Christmas time. If we could stay in the hunt, I think that was the idea: stay in the hunt around Christmas, and then we sort of kind of put our foot on the gas a little bit. We've had players come and go this year, and everyone who we've brought in, I think, has helped a lot. Kopsky be a good example. We lost Marcus and Grass and things like that there during the year, and sometimes that can be tough, and you can throw doubts among the group. But the leadership group and the coaching staff, not just this year, like pretty much every year do a good job of team togetherness and looking after each other. And yeah, I think the group really bonded from Christmas onwards.
You talk about the couple of changes there. It's obviously we lost Jackson late January, and then Cupsey came in, Gravel left. Obviously, we brought Alex Caffey in because there was a potential niggle for Cupsey, which he's obviously managed to work out. But having those, I don't want to mean Alex Caffey's 35. Having those different dynamic around the room. And it's been a difficult season. I fully agree with you. Obviously losing Grasso back in December, then we brought Tworinsky in, and then losing Marcus in late January as well. It has been a really difficult year, and to come out as champions must be extra special.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some people just see us signing players, they've signed another player, they've signed another goalie, but we don't sign them just for fun. We sign them because things have happened. Someone's got hurt, or someone's thinking about maybe going back to North America or something like that. There, even Jonesy, at the start of the year, we lost a British player, which allowed, I guess, with the silver lining, it allowed Carter to come in and help us out during the Challenge Cup, and he got, I think he's maxed out his games from the two-way, which is fantastic for him. So yeah, I mean, the silver linings to everything, and Keith always has this thing about next man up mentality. So if someone was out or the lineup or goes down, it's just next man up, and we continue on the way we were. So yeah, a tough year, but because it's tough, it means it's kind of more special at the end whenever you've come through it.
You brought his name up there, so let's talk about him, Adam Keefe. Take away from the fact that he seemed to really want to score past you at his testimonial, and you weren't really letting him do that. But the guy, him from being a teammate to being a coach. He has presided over the most successful period, both as player and as a coach, of what we have in Belfast Giants. And you talk to fans from other leagues that the golden period that we are having right now is a dynasty for the Giants that is being overseen and spearheaded by Adam Keefe. A few words about the coach and what he brings.
Yeah, obviously I've known him a long time, and as a player, and then the dynamic shifts a little bit into whenever you're a coach, you can't just have because me and him would go back and forth quite a lot as players with like banter and things like that there, but you can't really do that whenever he's a coach, especially if guys on the team don't play, they don't see that relationship. So I know people say he's like the heartbeat of the team and things like that there, but it is true. And one thing I will say is he just never takes a minute off. He's always 24/7 on the job, and that goes right through his coaching staff as well. Same with Mace and Stewie and George. It's 24/7 for those guys. I think whenever we win for them, it's nearly more of a relief than a feeling of happiness. They are happy, obviously, but do you know what I mean by that? It's more like the weight comes off, but it doesn't come off for long, and he doesn't let it come off for long. He's already, listen, guys. In that game against Guildford there, he wasn't too happy, and he's like, if this is the way we're going to go into playoffs, you're going to get it. You're going to get a lesson. And he just always ramps it back up. Back on the plane this morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. He was in the seat across, and he's doing the scouting reports for Glasgow. So it is 24/7. But they put the work in, and they get the rewards for it.
Scouting reports for Glasgow. We've somebody in the wings probably wants to say hello. We'll bring him in, and then we'll let you go. But you can say hello to our next guest, who's formerly of the Guildford Flames, formerly of the Belfast Giants, now of the Glasgow Clan. Daniel Tedesco, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Doing well. Turn your phone 90 degrees if you could, please, buddy.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yep, that should. There we go. That's a bit better. You wanted to say hello to Andrew Dickson, and here he is.
Dicko, how's it going, buddy?
Teddy, how you keeping? All good?
All good, man. All good. Excited to get to Belfast this weekend.
Yeah, well, I hope you're not that excited. So, but maybe. Yeah, I've been good. Have you been golfing over in Scotland? It's not too far up the road there.
I went to St. Andrews. I played 2 courses there. I haven't played the old course, unfortunately. Yeah. And then I went to Trump Turnberry. That was a good one.
Yeah, it would be a good one.
Yeah, and then we have a local course here we can get on for free. So I've been there a couple times, but that's
yeah. you got to head up Craig Peacock. He's still around Glasgow. He'll get you on St Andrews somewhere. So
Oh yeah,
yeah, I think so. Or Shane Owen over in Fife. He lives in St Andrews. So
that's cool.
yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, but anyway, listen, I'll let
one thing before Dicko goes. Teddy, give us a bit of an insight to what it's like to share a locker room with Andrew Dickson.
Oh, Dicko's the best. I think my favorite memory of Dicko is when we would do our 5-on-0 power play stuff before practice. And this is to show you how competitive this guy is. But any goal we would score 5-on-0, Dicko would lose his mind. Like he just hates getting scored on, and we had a chuckle about it. But no, Dicko's good shit. Everyone loves Dicko.
Appreciate it. I'll send you the money for sending that later. So,
Dicko, listen, we all love you. We don't know what the future holds, but we hope it's still within the Belfast Giants. And congratulations on another elite league. You can say technically all you want, mate. You're part of this team. You're part of the fabric of your team, and you're probably 7 times elite league champions. You're part of the fabric of this team. We're all dead proud that you're a part of it. So, and thanks for coming to join us, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Have a good night, boys. See you later.
Congrats, Dicko. See you, buddy.
Teddy, thanks for coming to join us. How are you keeping?
Yeah, not bad. It's been a strange year. Not my favorite year, but it's going. We're excited for playoffs.
You started the season with the Bloomington Bison, and then you came in to the Glasgow Clan. Glasgow finishing 8th, and therefore in the seeding are up against Belfast. Obviously this weekend, finished 8th, could have finished 7th, but for it was on. It was a couple of tiebreakers, I think it came down to. But within the whole setup of Glasgow, how have you felt it's been?
Yeah, honestly, it's a good setup here. I mean, our rink's great, our apartments are great, the guys are great. Honestly, when I signed here, I had I looked at the roster and I thought this team's really good. Like we might actually have a chance to finish in the top of the league. When I first got here, and then I thought we played really well. It just we couldn't score goals. We would go I think we went 7 or 8 games in a row scoring 1 goal, but we're out shooting every team. It was really bizarre. And then obviously we kept sliding down the table, and eventually it was. I mean, finishing in the top 4 was out of reach pretty quickly. But no, I mean, I still really like this team. I think we got a good roster. We just really got to dial it in for 2 games.
What you see, obviously, you're well experienced in this league. You've over 200 games in the elite league, but what you've seen from the Glasgow Clan is, while it's the consistency that's probably been lacking. You've been able to get the wins. You took the win in Belfast. You've taken the win against Sheffield, despite the fact that what happened last weekend. You did get the home win to follow that up. You're getting the scalps. It was the consistency through the regular season that really was lacking.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here the whole season, obviously, but someone told me yesterday that we only took 5 points from Guildford and Coventry this year. So that's not what you want from the middle of the table team. We need to be taking points from everyone. So like you said, we did do well in certain games against the top teams. Since I was here, we beat you guys, Nottingham, Sheffield, and Cardiff at least once. So we have shown that we can beat these teams, but you're right. We have to just show it consistency and be able to do it for 2 games in a row, because that's what this weekend is. Or that's what this league is. Sorry.
Teddy, first of all, welcome back to View from the Bridge. It's so good to have you on. It's been a while since it's probably Christmas since I've seen you, but I try to keep things upbeat, but there's obviously a little elephant in the room of the Italian selection for the Olympics. It was something that you were for years focused on. Didn't quite work out for you. Have you been able to overcome that okay?
Not really. It's been tough. I kind of went into this year with the goal of making that team. Obviously I wanted to do well with the team, whatever team I was on, but that was my main goal for the season, and obviously fell short of that. And that was kind of the reason why I came back to the EIHL. I was planning to stay in the ECHL for the year, but I went to the Italy camp in Poland in November, and I didn't do very well. So the coach kind of told me that I'm now on the outside looking in, and it would probably be better if I came back to Europe. So after I heard that, I started looking back in Europe, and I and I figured like I need to get back here, or else I have zero chance of making the team. So Glasgow offered me, and I decided to come back to the IHL, and still didn't go my way, but obviously have a job to do here, so I had to move on as quickly as I could. But like I said, I was pretty devastated, and it's probably going to sting for a while.
Yeah, and that'll have hurt. But as you say, you know, the good thing about hockey is it's just game after game in the second half of the season. It goes so quick, and really there's 2 weekends left here, and you get to go back and get a bit of sunshine and refresh yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the season after Christmas always goes so quickly here. I got here after Christmas, so the whole it's flown by. Like I started my season in end of October, and it's going to end in April. So it's the quickest season I've ever had. But yeah, it's been tough, and we're kind of hoping that we can play 2 more weeks. I know you guys probably don't want that, but that's our goal, and we'll see.
Teddy, going into this weekend, your first game's in Belfast, obviously, and then back to Glasgow on Sunday.
You guys there?
League form doesn't
7 p.m. on a
really-
Sunday, mate? No. He said, are you guys going to be there? He said, 7 p.m. on a Sunday? No.
Sorry, I think my phone is glitching out. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Sorry, let's go back to
I can hear you.
Okay.
When you look at the league form this year, Giants are 5-1 against Glasgow this season. That
What's
doesn't
going
really.
on? I
you
can't
hear
hear
me?
Kitchy.
Can you not hear Sis?
No, I
Can't
can't
hear me
him.
now.
Says, tell me the question there, and I'll ask Teddy. Go 5-1 against Glasgow.
About 5-1 this season, but it doesn't really count for anything. Get into playoffs.
Yeah, so we're 5-1 against you in league action this season, Teddy, but it's not going to count for anything this weekend. It's anything can happen.
Is he still asking a question?
No, that's his question. Was we're 5-1 against you? Doesn't count for anything this weekend.
Yeah, well, of course not. Playoffs is a new animal, and it's 2 games. Like anyone can win. I think this is the first year in the league where I think that any of the series could go either way. Like it's pretty 50-50 down the line. Like I think Manchester's a good team. Guildford's got a pretty good team. Coventry, to be honest, I think Coventry's really good too. Like, I mean, I think all 4 of the lower end teams are going to give the top teams a run for their money, and it'll be interesting.
We'll get before you go back down to Paddy. We do this on this episode every year. We've been doing it for 20 odd years now. We'll bring the 4 games up, and we'll have a little fun predictor. So let's get the Teddy. You're obviously going to go Glasgow in the big game, but what are the other matchups, Paddy?
The other matchups are the Sheffield Steelers against Guildford. He's going to go for Guildford.
I'm going to go Sheffield.
Oh, you're Sheffield? You're
not you're not going back to Guildford ever then?
Nottingham against Manchester.
Oh, that's a tough one, because a lot of the guys here said when they played Nottingham at the beginning of the season, they were snapping it around like the Russian Red Army. So if they can get back to that, they could be dangerous. But my gut says Manchester for some reason.
Yeah, Manchester. And then you've got Cardiff against Coventry.
That's another tough one. I have to pick Cardiff just because of my good buddy Brett Ferguson. But like I said earlier, I really like Coventry's team too. So I'm going to stick with Cardiff, though.
Which way around are they, Paddy? Which game's first in the Cardiff one? Home advantage in the Sunday could be massive there.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I'll have a quick check for you. But Sheffield, Manchester, Cardiff, and Glasgow. I'll jot those down, Teddy, and we will revisit those. Give me a second, and I will check on that thing for Davy, because these games, like you say, depending on the way around it goes, it could be absolutely massive. Cardiff are at home on Sunday. Cardiff are second leg at home.
Yeah.
So massive for them.
Would that be Sunday then?
Yeah,
that'll be Sunday. Sunday at 5:00.
Okay. Would the Coventry game be Friday or Saturday?
But all games are Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
I think someone told me if we played Cardiff, we would have played Friday at home.
Which you've done a lot
then-
this season, Fridays and Sundays, rather than not many Saturday games happening in Glasgow this year.
Which is nice. It's nice to have a day break in between. I think that's something that is holding this league back a little bit, is the back-to-back games.
I'd say it's a good point. It's that you look at the likes of the DEL in Germany, it's always Friday, Sunday. Like the
I think most of Europe's like that.
Yeah.
What do you call our friend Paddy? He coached in Fife for a couple of seasons.
Tom Cullen.
Tom Cullen absolutely hated this league for that reason. For traveling, why not have double headers? You might play in Fife, Cardiff at home, Cardiff away on a Friday, Saturday, or a Saturday, Sunday, and he hated it here. He couldn't wait to get going.
Well, in Belfast, it was okay because we played a lot of games at home first, and then would travel the next day. But in Guildford, like, we would have to go up to, let's say Dundee, right? We'd go up the night before sometimes, play the game Saturday night, hop on a bus and drive home 10 hours. And I would sit on the bus with just sitting up like this and my legs outstretched on the seat in front of me for 10 hours. And that was my night's sleep. It's kind of like dangerous, like I just played a high level hockey game. I'm going to sit on a bus for 10 hours, got to get off the bus, and then I got to play another game the next night in a couple hours. Like, I don't know. It's really strange. And a lot of imports know about it. It's kind of gotten out, and guys don't want to come to this league for that reason. So I think it's really holding the league back a bit.
I think a Friday Sunday schedule would be really beneficial overall. I do, like I say, if it works in Germany, I assume that's what they do in Italy as well when you played there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
I think in Italy it was Thursday, Saturday, so that was even better.
So giving the guys a day's rest in order to do it and having a regular schedule, but then a lot of it comes down to arena availability, rink availability, etc., etc., etc. But then final question then, given that being the case, Teddy, how beneficial is it to you guys to have that second leg at home on the Sunday?
Well, I always said I liked the Belfast schedule first or better because you only have to travel for one game. Whereas we have to travel for both games, right? We got to come there, play, and then travel home to play. So in my opinion, I don't think it's a benefit to us playing at home the second game. But at the same time, both teams are going to be tired. We'll be able to come home to our beds for a nice nap before the game. So, you know what? I think it could help us if we need it.
Well, I hope it doesn't. That's it. On that basis, listen, we really appreciate you coming and joining us to have a chat with us. It's good to see you again. And I was going to say good luck this weekend. Absolutely not.
I don't blame you. No worries, guys.
Take care, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday.
Thank you, Teddy. All the best, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Big thanks to Andrew Dickson and to Daniel Tedesco. Some really good points made there I want to come back to, but I want to chalk off the final two games of the regular season very, very quickly, Davy.
Tell us what the scores were, Paddy.
We weren't about the interviews. Just go straight into the chat.
Okay, then let's do that. Let's go talk about Saturday's game, which was the defeat to the Guildford Flames, a 6-2 win for the Guildford Flames. Giants goals came from Reid Irwin, David Goodwin, and the Flames goals came from Tyler Bush, Josh Waller, Tyler Bush again, Josh Nixon, Josh Waller again, Josh Waller with a hat trick with his empty netter. Jake Kupski and Justin Fazio were in goals. It was Andy Dalton and Vitas Lukasevicius were in the stripes. The interview that you aren't hearing, but you can hear from the frustration in it from Adam Keefe, the fact that this is our last home game of the regular season as champions. You need to go out there, and that the compete level, Simon, wasn't there.
No, Guildford deserved it. They outskated us, they outbattled us. They obviously scored 6 goals. Waller was outstanding. Their goaltender played very well. It wasn't good enough. As I say, you want to go into the end of the season trying to get a bit of form going. I know we're changing around a few players in the lineup, but that we just could not get going, and that's partly to blame because Guildford wouldn't let us get going. Every time we looked like we're getting a bit of life into it, I thought we're sort of getting a chance here. But I actually thought the first period we did okay. When we were commentating with Sakura, it was just a bit dull. The whole first period was just there, and there wasn't much happening. They get a goal just towards the end of the first period, give them the 1-0 scoreline, get into the break. But I just didn't think we played well enough. I didn't, those battles along the line or along the wall. Sorry, they scored a couple of power play goals. We just weren't good enough. And I did listen to Adam's interview after the game, and he was looking for a reaction come the next day. And obviously I think he got that, but Saturday wasn't good enough in front of another sold out crowd. It was just disappointing.
Davy, excuse me. Guildford have won 8 games out of the final 10 of the regular season. They are going into these playoffs on really good form, really good momentum, and showed in this very game what they are capable of.
Yeah, we've had problems with them all season. I did feel for Simon and Sakura through that first period there. They were trying to find things to talk about at times because the game was so turgid, but sprung into life. There was a lot of goals. Again, a little bit of a repeat. That's a lovely goal by Reid Irwin, by the way. Just taking it right into blue paint and just holding on to it and letting the goalie go down and finding the 5-hole. But that aside, we were just too loose. We weren't as competitive as we have been. And you can understand it. It's very hard. But as Adam said, we're going to need to turn a switch on here because playoffs come at you fast in this country. And we're right at a few wrongs. I thought we were great on Sunday night, which we'll come on to. And as bad as we were, not as bad as we were, as uncompetitive as we were on Saturday night, we were competitive on Sunday. So that was a good thing that, and now we'll go into a week of practice and we've got Glasgow twice and, with all the marbles on the line. And this team won't want to make that banner raising the final thing they do this season. They'll want to go on and get more. They're hungry for more. They've got the talent and the ability, but, and just here, see what before we go on. Daniel Tedesco, one of the nicest people I've ever met, being around the Giants, and absolutely cracking. Thanks very much to him coming on. You can feel the disappointment in the guy from not making the Olympics this year. Remember talking to him way back in July, August, and he was really, really, this was his focus, and he didn't know whether he was going to come back to the UK. He thought he was going to probably get in okay playing the ECHL. Obviously, as he said there, the camp didn't go great for him, and he ended up in Glasgow, and it didn't work out for him. I imagine playing the Olympics at home would have been a big thing for him, but wasn't to be. But yeah, back to this game. We dropped goals there. We wouldn't have conceded 6 weeks. So, Guildford are top of the form league, 5 out of 5. Their last, 10 points out of 10. So they'll take some putting away over the weekend.
Yeah, and I think you made a really good point there, David. I don't think we were bad in this game. I just don't think that we had the same compete level as Guildford, who were, a team who are at that time really just trying to juggle for position. They we'll come back to the league table in a minute, but they ended up in fifth to go up against the Sheffield Steelers. But yeah, they were very good in this game.
We just didn't play loose against them all season. All the games, if I might be wrong, were 1-goal games. A bit like Coventry, 1-goal games, bar the Challenge Cup debacle. And Guildford Flames are a good team. They've got good goaltending, strong in defence, and they've got fast forwards who know where the back of the net is. So they need treated with a lot of respect. And maybe just on the night, we maybe thought it was going to come too easy. And it was the end of the season, dead rubber. We just played a wee bit loose and we weren't as competitive as they were. And this is what happens, Simon. I'll tell you, this is what happens in this league. If you don't come out with your best foot forward, you take the L.
Well, and one last comment before you get the highlights of this from Belfast Giants TV on Giants TV on YouTube. But it all but games against Guildford in April just make me think it was Scott Conway who said in Guildford, see you in April.
Yeah.
And once again, see you in April. And another banners raised for the Belfast Giants. Final game of the regular season for the Giants was against the Coventry Blaze. No highlights available for this one as yet, but it was a win for the Belfast Giants 5-4. Coventry Blaze scored for the Luciani again, Matthew Gleeson, Grant Mismatch, and Jordan Power for the Belfast Giants. Scott Conway, Ben Lake scoring in Coventry in the final game of the season. Nicholas Gay scoring home and away. Jordan Kawaguchi and Scott Conway with his second of the game. Matt Robson and Alex Caffey were in goals. Chris Wells and Oliver Truswell were your referees. Davey, I'll start with you. I thought we were great in this game, to be honest with you. I thought it was a really, like the game on the Wednesday, I thought it was two teams going at it really well. But I also thought that at times we made them look very ordinary.
Yeah, and when you look at the roster, and that's credit to the guys that came in, but you look at who were left at home, Spike wasn't there, Gabe Bass wasn't there, no David Goodwin. I'm trying to think else. JJ Pickenich wasn't there, Simon?
JJ wasn't there.
I was there. I was there myself, but I'm just trying to think.
You were there. JJ wasn't.
Yes, and so you're leaving out some big weapons in your armory there, and we hadn't played well on Saturday night. Adam might have been looking a reaction, but still change the squad up. It would have been easy to mail this in, but I thought we were absolutely excellent last night in all departments. Obviously some really good performances right through the roster and to come away with a win. I'm just seeing Simon's note here, so I'll stop.
Well, if you can go on. He's not here yet.
All right, okay. So just thought it was a really good performance. The might have been the opening goal from Scott Conway, but it's top bins. It's in there. And it's some really, really good goals last night. Ben Lake on a big one. The one thing we'll maybe come back and talk on it, the sort of controversial point with 5 seconds left in the game, there's an interference call on Ben Lake, and it's just a clean, sweet hit to his head. He's two-handed, straight in the head, and 6 feet from our main tapper standing. Adam obviously gets thrown out of the game for trying to make a point to the refs because we took the penalty. They've already pulled their goalie, so it's 6-on-4. They're only 1 goal behind. I don't know. I'd like to see an arena with more than 1 camera angle. Would be a great thing for Coventry going forward.
A bit of referee involvement, Simon, in this game as well, with regards to the goals being scored and being assessed. Your assessment of the game?
I agree with you. I thought we played decent, but I was expecting a reaction after Saturday night. I just don't think we were good enough on Saturday night. So again, a couple of changes, missing your captain, missing JJ, who's had a great season so far, and Basti, and obviously Kupski was given a break as well. But I thought Alex Caffey did really well. But that hit at the end, when you listen to Stu and Ed, they couldn't believe that Ben Lake got a penalty. I'm going to be really honest. I actually think Mike Pelic left his feet and made contact with the head. I couldn't believe. I think the refs have got that absolutely wrong. And no wonder Adam was as pissed as he was. It's about player safety. Laker does not stay down if it's a clean hit. If he's not, Laker's not the type of guy to basically just lie there under any circumstances. If there's a more honest player in the league, I'd like to meet him. You knew he was hurt and you knew something was not right. I just thought Pelic was I thought he left his feet and just basically come up and went straight through the head. Head first hit. Couldn't believe it was a penalty, to be very honest, especially on Laker. And Adam, as I say, was just protecting his player. So I don't see, again, look, I don't like having to go with the refs because I know they've got a tough enough job, but I think they got that absolutely wrong.
I agree with you, and that door took one hell of a bounding.
Listen, if we're able to review a goal, I don't know what the whether you can only review a major penalty, but you can downgrade a major, so call it and just pull it back. But the ref, I don't know which way around the refs were. It was Wells and Trustwell, I think, last night, is on the diag about 100 feet away. The trailing ref doesn't call it. He calls it through. The other ref calls it through a crowd of players. He's making an honest call at that point. He thinks it's an interference from Laker, but go and have another look at it. In that context of the game, say that's the last game of the season. Or, sorry, it's the last game of the season. But if there was skin in the fight there, with 5 seconds left, they've pulled the goalie. You need to be able to look at that. You have to be
absolutely.
able to. If we're able to review goals for tenuous reasons, we should be able to look at the video evidence is there to go and have a wee quick look at. Did I get this right? I'm sure, because I think there was people looking around.
Especially
I'm not 100% sure we've got this right.
Especially for 20 minute, especially for game penalty, which is what it was. It was a 20-minute bench minor. So it's
No, that was that not.
Oh no, that was no. You're right. Sorry, you're right.
No, it was just a 2-minute minor for interference.
2-minute minor, but what ended up being caused from that 2-minute minor ended up being being kicked and getting that from it. Anyway, a 5-4 win for the Belfast Giants rounds out the season, the regular season for the champions with the win over the Coventry Blaze. We'll come back to those matchups in just a second. But there were 2 notable assists, one from Carter Hamill and another from our defenseman, Mr. Kell Beattie. How you doing, Kell?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me on. Sorry I'm a bit late. Had a few meetings to do tonight. Currently in Nottingham, so I've got Carter sitting behind me here in the hotel room. So
both assists are in the room.
yeah. Hopefully he keeps his mouth shut. So.
What brings you to Nottingham then?
We actually stayed over last night in Birmingham, but we're going. Me and Carter are heading away with the GB national team for a 3v3 tournament in Innsbruck. So we are skating in Nottingham tomorrow, sort of reflect the team in that. And then we fly out on Wednesday. So yeah, looking forward to it. Exciting. Outdoor rink as well. So never been to Innsbruck, so see what happens. Really, just have a bit of fun with it.
Innsbruck's dead nice, mate. I can tell you that. But how exciting? How much fun is it to play in the 3-on-3 style?
Yeah, like it's gonna be fun. Obviously, it being in Innsbruck as well, I've heard really good things about the place, and 3-on-3, everyone likes it. You know what I mean? Especially the fans as well. Get them involved. But it's gonna be fast. A lot of skill in that. There's no contact in it either as well. So there's a lot of rules that we didn't realize until we found out tonight. So you get a penalty, the other team gets a penalty shot, you ice the puck, the other team gets a penalty shot. So stuff like that. It's gonna be pretty fast, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of goals in it as well.
Kell, talk us through last night's assist. Paddy mentioned it on the start of the lovely little zone entry. Could have taken the shot, probably just pause and just flip it across backhand for Gazer coming at the back post. Just beautiful.
Yeah, I try to jump into the play as much as I can. I would say I'm quite an offensive defenseman when I'm playing with Solway and that, and obviously getting these couple of games for the Giants towards the end of the season. I didn't really know what to expect from myself. Obviously, I wanted to go out and prove myself just with the last couple of games. And obviously, Kiefer giving me that opportunity last night playing in the top 6 was great. So, just tried to jump into the play. Gucci ended up finding me in the middle and was able to just slip it across the Gazer to the back door and an empty net. So, it was a great feeling, obviously, to be on for a plus and get an assist as well, and obviously contribute to the team. It was great, and just glad we got the win.
Kell, you've had a really good season in Solway. You're getting a lot of ice time and playing all eventualities, all situations. And you have got that chance now towards the end of the season. You've played 3 or 4 games now, 4 games. And you must be pleased the way things are going. You've worked your tail off over the last few years. You've obviously, Adam's kept you in his thoughts. But to come out and to get the opportunity of, say, over the last 3 or 4 games, you must be really pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, on a 2-way, you never really know what's going to happen. Obviously, you're with your sort of parent team being your other team when you're on a 2-way. So, when you get that opportunity, you sort of have to take it with both hands. Like Carter this year, when he's got called up, he's took his opportunity, and fair play to him, you know what I mean? But I feel like just being at Solway this year, it's obviously helped me a lot more. I've grown a lot more as a player and been a lot more confident on the puck and that as well. So, getting these chances towards the end of the season just sort of proved to the coaches and sort of myself and the fans as well that I can sort of play at this level.
And to do it with your mates must be even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, being out with them on the ice, especially on Saturday night against Nottingham last weekend. Obviously, starting the game was great. Grew up with Carter and Cammy my whole life, so just doing it with them and obviously sharing that moment with them was unbelievable.
Deco was on earlier, mate. Give us a word for Deco.
Yeah, well, Dicko's always been there for us as well. You know what I mean? So, like, especially us young boys, he's always been there, and like he always takes time to chat to us as well. And you can have a laugh with him, and he's been there for a long time, and he's a player that everyone will remember if when they come and go from the Giants. So, he's a great guy and an even better teammate as well.
Well, listen, buddy, we appreciate you coming and joining us. Good luck. Oh, sorry, Dave's got one more.
I want to ask a quick one here. Obviously, a young brother there who's making some strides in the game as well. Does Jude reference you at all? Does Jude chat to you about hockey, or is he just doing his own thing?
Yeah, he would chat to me the odd time. Now he's getting a bit older. I don't think he really wants to chat to me anymore. But obviously, with me living away and that, it's a bit harder for him because he doesn't really see me as much. But he would message me like just throughout the week and stuff, and just ask me sort of simple stuff like how to get what he does, what he needs to do to get better and that as well. And I think it all just comes down to hard work. Really, you get in what you get in what you put. So, I mean, just keep working hard. Really, that's all I have for him. And if he listens to the right people that are around him, then he'll do all right.
Do you know what? Just before you go, and you can bring Carter in this if you want. It's time for the Player of the Month for March. We got 4 nominations for Player of the Month, and from the nominations from the people what they asked, here are the 4 players who are up for.
Look at the size of Carter. He looks like a giant.
We have Carson Twinski. We have David Goodwin. We have number 71. That is, of course, Carl Boudreau. And we have number 73, Jake Kopsky. On Wednesday, the voting will open for March's Player of the Month. I'll come to you two boys last. I'm going to start with my own, and I'm going to vote for David Goodwin on the basis the professional trophy lifter that he is. I think he's had an absolutely phenomenal month, and that's not taken away from the likes of Kopsky, who's come in and been superb. You've got Carl Boudreau, brilliant at the back end. And you got Carson Twinski, who is being referenced as a power forward who's really changed our game. But I think David Goodwin is leadership coming down the stretch, and I think he's worth the Player of the Month for March. David.
Me?
Yes.
Such a hard month, but I love it, man. So I'm going to vote for Carl Boudreau this month. I think Carson came up with a couple of massive goals. He reverses in that, that big body of his in front of the blue paint. He causes havoc on the power play. Who else was there? Goody. 2 massive goals against Nottingham. On the night we'll win the league, your captain steps up. We talked about Mark Cooper doing it last year. Goody's done from Christmas. We talked about it. We had a laugh with him from he got married. He's been a different player. Cooper's been insane in nets in his stretch, but Carl played forward, played D this month. I'll go for Boudreau.
Simon.
Goody. I fully agree with you, Paddy. I think he's been excellent since he tied the knot back in December. That trio of Pickenic, Conway, and Goodwin have been fantastic this last 6-8 weeks. Just when it matters, they've stepped up. They've come up big against Cardiff, they've come up against Sheffield, and come big against Nottingham. And get those, he got 2 goals. Obviously, Collins got a hat trick last week. He got another 2 on last Sunday night. So I thought Goody's been excellent. So for me, it's Goody.
Kell.
I'm gonna go with Carl. Just think over the past couple of weekends that I've been back home, he's been really solid defensively. Obviously contributing in offense as well. Really, really fast, and obviously people can't keep up with him, so they have to take penalties on him. And I feel like he's done a great job since I've sort of came back. So Carter's my vote.
Carter.
It's kind of a tough one this month, obviously, with the players he's put out there. Obviously, Copper came in there and he was massive whenever he needed to be. Obviously, helped the boys go over the line. Goody's been unreal. As usual, he's been scoring a lot. And Carl was playing forward there the other week, contributing with the points and obviously sticking up for his teammates too, fighting. But Carson too, you know, sometimes it goes unnoticed with like the shot blocks he does all the time, but it's not missed by his teammates by any means. So I'm actually going to go with Carson for this month. Just I think he's contributing points wise too, but just the things he does that sometimes go unnoticed. I really take a notice to it, and I love the way he's been playing there. So I'm going to go with Carson this month.
Thanks, boys. The voting will open on Wednesday morning, and you can cast your vote for Marches. Before you go, Carter, just a wee story for you. As I was telling the boys earlier on, I didn't tell the boys this story. I was skiing last week in France, had a really lovely time. Saw a lot of people coming around wearing different shirts. Saw a guy wearing an Augsburg shirt. Saw a guy wearing a couple of guys wearing Sweden shirts, and then I passed a Bristol Pitbulls fan wearing Hamill 7 as I was coming skiing through Les Arcs. So let him know he's got somebody skiing around in France representing him.
I'm gonna text him straight after this call and let him know. He'll love it.
Wait, listen.
Talking with text, Paddy, before you go, I've just received a text. Let's just call her Julie from North Belfast. Just saying, can you just tell Kell how proud we are of him?
Nah.
So,
Yo, lay off my mum needs to lay off the text messages.
Especially texting Davy.
Yeah, I know.
It's unbelievable. Boys, listen, good luck. Good luck in Innsbruck. Have a good time. Well done on the season.
Thank you.
And we'll catch up with
hang
you
on,
soon.
hang on. Julia's typing. Hang on.
I'm finished. I'm away. I'll see you later.
All the best, boys. Take care.
Yeah, boys.
Big thanks to Kell and Carter for that. And well done to them, and good luck to them in representing GB in the 3-on-3. Obviously, there's a 3-on-3 tournament happening in Belfast in July, so maybe we'll see them as part of that. Right, couple of more things just to close out the show. The awards season came for the Belfast Giants, and apart from the highlight for me being that Simon forgot to introduce Robert Fitzpatrick on stage instead of brought the CEO out instead. It was still very, very funny. The awards went. Forward of the year was JJ Pickenich. Defenseman of the year, Mike Lee. Unsung heroes were Jackson Whistle and Jake Kopsky. The coach's player of the year was Nicholas Gay. Jim Gillespie award went to David Goodwin and to Garrett McFadden. The Ian Batten award went to Jordan Kawaguchi. Fan favorite, Mike Lee. Players player of the year, Mike Lee. Most valuable player, Mike Lee. David Majimsey, it's the Mike Lee show this year. The way the last year was the Jeff Baum show.
And interestingly, wasn't it Jeff Baum show last year? Yeah,
year before. Jeff Baum show. Sorry, my apologies. So Jeff, it was but this year's Mike Lee's year.
Yeah, and interestingly, for someone who's as chirpy and chatty as Spike normally is, he pretty dried up when Sis put the microphone under his nose. But listen, he's been outstanding as an offensive D-man this year. I've said a few times he's channeling his inner Derek Walters. Twice Walters been mentioned on the show tonight, but you know, as an offensive forward, you can't argue with his numbers. He's came up with some. He scored the championship winning goal. Am I right in saying
he did once again? That's the second time he's done that.
Second year
and but there was a goal around Christmas time. It might even be that one that was playing when we were wearing that horrific gingerbread man outfit. We were in trouble, and he came up with a massive goal. Was it an overtime winner, maybe?
Yep.
And he just took a. Spike has this thing in overtime where he'll just take a bull by the horns and he'll just try and skate through people. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it works, it's spectacular. He's been so good. He really has, in an offensive manner. Like he's came up with huge assists, huge goals. He eats pucks as well. I know Carter was saying about Carson Trowinski there blocking shots. Spike blocks his fair amount of shots. He hits. He goes into the corners. He does all the things that he has to do, and you know he's been rewarded by the players and the fans alike. You know, have voted him their most valuable player this year, and you know, kudos to him.
Simon, your thoughts on some of the award winners on Wednesday night?
Yeah, I mean, I said, I think it was last week or the week before in the podcast. Mike Lee's been the best defenseman in the league this year.
Without a doubt.
I've no doubt about that at all. You know, he's been. You could count in one hand how many average games he's had this year. To come out with those 4 accolades, and I think he'll feel more proud about the one being voted for by his peers, and when you get the guys in the room basically saying that you're their player of the year, it's that's a big thing. It's we talked about this last week and saying about there was a few people complaining about not being able to have an awards night. We just can't, with the arena being that busy. We just don't have the time to slot it in before the boys actually go home. So I thought it worked really, really well. There was probably 2,500 to 3,000 people that stayed for the event itself, which was just fantastic. And for them to see that 99%, well, 90% of the awards were handed out. There's still the player of the points of the year as well, the top point scorer, which will be handed out when the final game of the season's done. But still a couple of guys in for a chance of that, and it could be the Mike Lee show again. I thought that it worked really, really well, and Spike has had a fantastic season so far, and hopefully there's room for another wee trophy to be lifted in 10 days time, 12 days time.
Absolutely, and do you know what? I thought it worked really well, and I think the way doing it that way. I know that there's a lot to be said about having the awards time and doing that and having a special event. I thought this was a special event, and it gives the opportunity to people at the games to stick around and show their respect and show their support for the lads. And well done to Mike Lee, and well done to all the guys who received an award. The regular season is over. The Belfast Giants are the champions. Let's have a quick look at how the league table finished before we talk about the quarterfinals. Giants were the champions. Cardiff Devils, Nottingham Panthers, Sheffield Steelers rounded out the top 4. Guildford, Manchester, Coventry, and then Glasgow were the bottom 4, with Dundee and the Fife Flyers outside of playoff contention. Interestingly, the most improved, I was looking at the two different, comparing last year's league season to this year's league season. Which team was the most improved, boys? Which do you think, points wise?
Oh, Cardiff Devils +7.
Wrong, Simon.
Close.
It's a plus 16. Simon.
Probably Manchester, is it?
Manchester.
Nope, Manchester second. The Fife Flyers finished last year with 12 points.
Wow.
This year with 28. They are the most improved side. The next is plus 14.
They had 12 points last year.
12 points last year. And 54 games, 12 points, 3 wins, 2 losses. Sorry, 3 regulation wins, 2 overtime wins, and 47 defeats. This year they finish with 28 points and are the most improved team in the league. Followed by the Manchester Storm. 47 is what they finished on last year, and they finished on 61 this year. So that's a 14-point jump. Belfast have improved by 4. The champions improved 80 to 84. And the Sheffield Steelers went from 77 to 70, from 77 down to 72. Nottingham Panthers went up from 72 to 74. But yeah, Fife Flyers were the most improved. I thought that was the one that got me. I was like, you wouldn't have expected that. In a couple of interesting anomalies there as well. We talked about Coventry and Glasgow, separated only by overtime wins. The regulation wins were the same, but Coventry got 1 extra overtime win that put them above the Glasgow Clan. And likewise, so what was it? I'm going to have to have a look at this. So what was it separated the Sheffield Steelers and the Nottingham Panthers? 26, 7-7, 15-15, 6-6.
Probably games versus each other.
Must be game because what's
it?
Goal must be I'm not even going to calculate that out.
Let's see. Quickly give us numbers there. I can't read that. It's far too small.
186 scored, 145 conceded.
I don't think that goals scored against our tiebreaker in this league.
What is the tiebreaker? That's how
I think it's head to head.
Is it? We've got the tiebreakers. Tie-breaking criteria. Points are the same. Regulation games are the same. Games won. Result of the games played. So it is. It's head to head. There we go. Head to head, and then fierce regulation losses. So yeah, some tight ones there, but it doesn't matter. Belfast Giants were the champions in the end.
Again.
Once again.
It's unreal. It's like 2018, when you go through like the whole COVID and all, the Giants have only not been the champions one season since like 2017 or something. It's outstanding.
It's just
all about us, says, isn't it?
Yep.
Absolutely unreal. One piece of news, in fact, I'll flip back here and bring up the tweet, is that friend of the show, Mark Lefebvre, is off to France. 5 years, and he said in his tweet, end of the chapter, 5 years, loved every moment through the ups and downs. We accomplished a lot for a tiny club. Zero regrets. To the Ward family, thank you for the opportunity and trust in me. On to the next chapter. Of course, it's not just Mark departing from Dundee. The Ward family are now away from that club that they have been part of for so long, and the ownership group of the Glasgow clan will now be in charge of the Dundee Stars. Friend of the show, spoke to him earlier this week. He wants to still come on and still be friend of the show. When you're the friend of the show, you're the friend of the show. But Davy, what I did say to him was the Elite League is losing one of the real characters.
Yeah, and those suits and those post-match interviews. That tell you what, the Dundee Stars TV don't have to throw their coach under the bus after a loss. Like our post-matches will be, I don't know, Simon, whether you are limited and you are just told, right, this is 2 minutes, you have 2 questions or whatever it is. Dundee Stars keep him on there for 5 minutes and ask the same questions following loss after loss. I felt for him at times this season. I feel that there's obviously been something in the dressing room there. Players have let him down. There's been a lack of professionalism there at times. Teams have they've lost games that they should have won, lost games from very good positions, and went through stretches. That team at the start of the season, we couldn't riddle them. We couldn't beat them, and in the Challenge Cup, we were having our own problems at the time. But that's not a team that should finish detached at the bottom of the league the way they have done. It's just feel for him. He's a good guy. He obviously puts your heart and soul into it. It's hard there when you're trying to be the Jackie Moon, and you've seen it in many. Our own friend Neil Coach Russell, tell you himself, trying to be the head of hockey ops, trying to be the coach. Dundee, obviously Mace has been up there himself, and he knows how difficult it is. They struggle for ice time up there. There's days where the rink's booked out and you just can't use it, even though it's sitting empty, and they're getting practice at odd times, and it's just a difficult franchise to run. So maybe the new broom will sweep clean, and the new ownership will be able to do something different up there. But good luck to him down in the south of France. It looks like an absolutely beautiful place that he's going to be living and working. So good luck to him. He's a good guy. We wish him nothing but the best.
Always came on this show, always very given with his time. We wish him well, Simon. It's like Davey says, it's a tough job.
Listen, it's not easy being a coach. I really like him. I think he's a good guy, and somebody told me last week that the clan ownership had taken over the club, but the wards are still involved. I don't know how accurate that is. I honestly don't, but apparently they're still going to be heavily involved in the day-to-day running of the club. But do you know what? Like a change of scenery might reinvigorate him, and you just never know how successful or unsuccessful you're going to be until you give it a go. And the Elite League will miss him. He's a decent lad. He's been around now for like a couple of different stints throughout his career, well, both as a player and as a coach. But it's another team, and I've said it before. I
don't care, mate. Don't care. I'm going to just see what says Kitchy in the bottom. I don't care about any other team. Just underneath it. Let's do what we normally do at this time of year in the regular season, and we have got the playoffs coming up. It's Belfast Giants against the Glasgow Clan. Saturday is 7 p.m. in Glasgow, and Sunday is 7 p.m. in television. And Sunday is 7 p.m. Saturday is 7 p.m. in Belfast, and Sunday is 7 p.m. in Glasgow, which is very late. Which sort of
7 p.m. What's that all about?
Yep. No idea. I was kind of hoping to go up for the Sunday game because I've got a bit of a free time Sunday. I thought I'll drive up for like what I expected to be a 4 or 5 p.m. face-off. 7 p.m. face-off on a Sunday in Glasgow. I'm not bothering with that. I'm assuming for both of you gentlemen, the Belfast are given on the 4 that will make it to the final 4. The other quarterfinals are Cardiff against Coventry, Nottingham against Manchester, Sheffield against Guildford. In all 3 of those, the higher seed will be having the second game. It's only Belfast who will have the second game at home. Sorry, the first game at home. David, give me your final four. Belfast, give me the other three.
I'll give you the other three, okay.
Cardiff against Coventry.
I think Cardiff will come through that on the Sunday night. It'll be a close one, but I think Cardiff come through with the home advantage on the Sunday night. They've been so good at home this season. I think that they'll come through if they can keep it tight in Coventry, which is usually a rink that scoring is tight. I think if they come away with something from Coventry, they'll come through that.
Nottingham against Manchester.
Manchester are dead bottom of the form league, like 2 points out of their last 5 games, but anything can happen there, as Daniel Tedesco was saying about, if the real Nottingham Panthers show up, they'll have too much for Manchester. But I'd love to see a Manchester win, don't get me wrong, but I think Nottingham will come through that as well.
And now Sheffield, who I think are on a real skid, but Sheffield against Guildford, who are not.
I think that the weekend came at a good time for Sheffield there and got a lot of goals. They'll be feeling it at home, especially in that game. Do they play home first or away first?
Sheffield will play away first. So it's in Guildford.
That's one of those. A bit the same as the Coventry. I think Sheffield go there. Maybe a narrow win for the Flames in the Spectrum, but I think the Sheffield will have too many goals for them on Sunday night and they'll run out by a number of goals, and it'll be Sheffield, Cardiff, Belfast, Nottingham in the finals.
Right, okay, so Belfast, Cardiff, Nottingham, Sheffield for Davy. Simon, well, who are yours? Belfast, of course, and the other three?
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be Belfast. You said you think it's a given. I do not think it's a given against Glasgow. It's going to be really, really tough. But I'm hoping it's going to be us. With regards Cardiff and Coventry, I think Cardiff they've won 7 of their last 8. I think it is maybe 6 of their last 8.
Hammering Sheffield 5-0.
They've scored a ton of goals over the last while as well. They're in a good run of form. They sort of once we beat them, back in the start of March and sort of eliminated them the week after when we played against Sheffield. They didn't. It was going to be a big. Big job for them, for us to win the rest. We'll lose every game and they have to win every game to have a chance of winning. Once they realize that they're not going to win the league, I think they went into playoff mode and Paul Thompson's got them ready. So I think it's going to be Cardiff that comes out of that duo.
Nottingham, Manchester.
What's that?
Nottingham, Manchester.
Nottingham. There was a bit of a physical battle on Saturday night for those two.
Yes, there was.
But I think Nottingham's going to be too strong for them. They've got a really solid team. De Ridder, the goalie for Manchester, is top class.
I agree.
But I do think that Nottingham's going to come out on the other end of that.
And Sheffield against Guildford.
Guildford, I seen them playing the other night. They were missing Alvaro. They were missing Ule, they were missing Kugler. They have a good team. Defensively, they keep you to the outside. They played very well against us on Saturday night, and Fazio's a top goalie. I think Guildford could. The Sheffield are on a bit of a slide. They've only won 2 of their last 7, I think it is. I think Guildford could make an upset from the Sheffield series for sure.
That's a bit. So, given my 4, I actually went for quite a few upsets. I went for Belfast to win this one. I went for Manchester. You're right. It was a physical battle in Altrincham. The 2 teams trying to size each other out. Obviously trying to set up something for the future game and the potential playoff quarterfinal. I think De Ridder is excellent. I really do.
I agree.
I actually think that Nottingham maybe last weekend showed that they are quite vulnerable. I think Manchester might scrape this one, especially if they can, turn that rink of theirs into the cauldron that it can be in times. I'm actually going Coventry against Cardiff. I'm going for Coventry on the basis that I think Coventry have been excellent, and I think that Coventry they have had a couple of problems with regards to consistency. But they showed against us that in a two-legged elimination aggregate game, that they can perform against a top side. So I'm a big fan of Moore, and Grant Mismash is scoring a lot of goals. I think Drew DeRidder and Matt Robson are the top two netminders in the league this year. Matt Robson can do anything if he turns up. And then so Coventry that and Guildford. I think they're too strong at this moment in time for Sheffield, who I think are on a real skid. I think Sheffield 5 getting at home they can barely buy a win. Yes, they scored 8 against Glasgow Clan. They went up to Glasgow and got beaten in overtime. So I think that the Sheffield are a team that are all over the place at the moment, and I could see Guildford, who are pretty strong and showed what they could do against us in our own rank. Yes, we weren't playing for anything. Yes, we had players out of the game, but I think Guildford showed what they could do. So I'm going for Belfast, Manchester, Guildford, and Coventry. Bit of shout out to Gareth Martin, Belfast, Cardiff, Manchester, and Guildford, who Marty have gone for as well. And we heard from Daniel Tedesco earlier, Sheffield, Manchester, Cardiff, and he says the Glasgow Clan, because of course he would. I've got all those saved. We'll come back to these next week and we'll see who's got through the final 4. From the Belfast Giants perspective, it is 2 games against the Glasgow Clan. Saturday, 7 p.m. at the SSE Arena. As Simon says, if you don't have a ticket for that, you may get it quickly, because that will sell out as the final home game of the season for your Belfast Giants, the Elite League champions, as they go for the final trophy of this season. And then we go over to the Glasgow Clan to face them in the second leg over at the Brayhead Arena, 7 p.m. on Sunday, and you'll get that on Clan TV. Any comment about having the first game at home, boys? Does it really matter?
Just the way it is. I suppose what Teddy said is you've only to travel once.
Fair point.
If we had played there on Saturday night, would we have, Simon better place to say, would we have got 7,000 in on a Sunday afternoon? Possibly. Certainly, we've had 6,500 and 6,700 in on Sunday afternoon, so it's not the hard sell that it once was. But I just think Saturday night hockey is where it's at in Belfast, and we'll want to go in there and put our final regulation. This is the final time that a lot of these boys are going to step on Odyssey ice. It's not giving away any secrets, Simon. The team changes every season, so some of these guys won't be back. It'll be other teams, other careers, retirement, whatever. So this is your last opportunity. So if you've got a ticket this Saturday night, you are very lucky. If you don't, tune in to Giants TV, because it's a farewell of sorts as well, and they'll want to be going out there with a really good, strong performance and hopefully take something to Glasgow to play with.
Simon, does it matter first leg at home?
I hope not. I think it's going to be a tough task this time of the year. There's no games easy. Even you talked about Sheffield beating Glasgow 8-1 the other night. I think when they got the 4-5-1, that the Glasgow were already thinking about the next day and coming back and putting in a better performance in front of their home team. They have beat us in Glasgow this year. They have beat us in Belfast this year. Yeah. We played against them last year, and it went the second game in Glasgow as well. So look, it's going to be tough. Make no mistake about it. But I still expect us to step up and play a really good performance on Saturday. Adam will have them prepared and ready to go. They've got Monday and Tuesday off, and then they'll be back on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and ready to go on Saturday.
Big weekend as we try to get to that final 4 in Nottingham. Any other business, boys?
Nah,
we're all done then. Big thanks to Andrew Dickson. Big thanks to Daniel Tedesco, to Kell, Beattie, and to Carter Hamill, all for being part of it. Remember, the Player of the Month award will open on Wednesday on Twitter. You can cast your vote on that. The MVP award is now closed. We have our winner. The award is currently being etched. You'll find out who that is in due time. Big thanks to well over 1,000 people who voted for the KOTG of View from the Bridge Most Valuable Player Award for this season. Big thanks to Mr. Majimsey and It's All About the Giants down there for joining us on this show. You can get us on the usual social sort of thing: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, podcast at kingdomofthegiants.com, and all that sort of jazz. My voice is held up because the ski lurgy is taking hold. But thanks to the boys again for last week, and enjoy the 2 games this weekend. Wherever you are this weekend, We hope you enjoy your hockey. We'll catch you here next time on A View from the Bridge.